Hello and welcome to Ben and Mike's Film Room, where they're going to talk about gorillas and skulls and Hong Kongs and ding dongs.
No! This is family friendly, PG clean.
Okay.
Ding dongs are a type of snack.
That's right.
Then it's okay.
You
What were you thinking of, Benjamin?
Obviously.
dirty mind
The
gunnery.
treat.
As usual, remember, hold on to your butts.
Hello and welcome back to Ben and Mike's Film Room. And what beep? What did you hear? Nothing.
I thought you said we weren't going to talk about it.
Who's talking about anything?
Exactly.
So we just watched Kong Skull Island because we're in quarantine.
Yep, we can't go anywhere, but here we are, together, stuck.
Coming to your homes from a safe distance.
Yes.
So-
Digital viruses excluded.
Yes. So this was a very enjoyable movie.
Yeah.
Like it has some really good monster action for once, you know? Like,
yes. Yes, it did.
But before we get to that,
Oh.
we should talk about our histories with Kong.
Sure.
You have seen two Kong movies that I've never seen.
Have I seen every Kong movie?
Not at all.
How many Kong movies are there?
They're the sequel to the original called Son of Kong that came out like 10 months later.
Oh my goodness. Are you serious?
Yes, you saw the Lindsay Ellis video.
I forgot about it. She does a great job.
We always bring her up. in
She's
these
fabulous. She deserves her own podcast.
things. I'm sure. You know what?
Does she?
I think she does.
Then what are we doing here? You should just be
We're
listening
wasting
to
our time!
You should just be listening to Lindsay Ellis.
Anyway, so talk about your Kong.
Yeah, so I've seen the original, the 30-something King Kong. I've seen the 70s King Kong. I've seen Peter Jackson's 2005 King Kong. And I have to say, none of them were that good.
I disagree about one of those, but
The
continue.
2007 one had... 2005 one had some really good fights with the T-Rex. That was really, really cool. But the movie went on too long, and Jack Black was casted in it, and he was too funny at the time to be in a serious role. So I was always ready for him to do rick-a-dick-a-doo throughout the movie, and he never did. Just said it was beauty that killed the beast.
Yes.
Super straight, and you're like, well, here we are. So that was really it for me. Apparently there are other King Kong movies. There's Kong vs. Godzilla. There's Son of Kong.
I'm sure there's a Robo Kong in there somewhere with Mechagodzilla.
There's a robot Kong?
Of course there is!
Oh my goodness. I'm just looking that up. I just don't believe you.
Okay, while you
Kong
do that,
movies.
I will go on to say that
Rampage does not count.
it's an image from Google, Ben.
I know. I just typed King Kong movies and it was in the list.
Anyway, my history with King Kong is only the Peter Jackson film. And I gotta say, I watched that one a surprising amount. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy Jack Black. I really enjoy friggin' Gorilla King Kong, which this is... I'll get into this because I watched a bunch of special features from the movie. Of this movie. But with that Peter Jackson King Kong, that was his pet project for almost a decade. Because he wanted to make it in, like, he approached, I believe, who did Lord of the Rings movies? Lionsgate? Lionsgate was it? Or are you sure?
No.
Okay, let's just
The
say
studio.
Warner Brothers. Let's say Warner Brothers. He approached whatever studio and said, "Hey, I'd like to make this Lord of the Rings movie. I mean, King Kong movie." And they said, "Do Lord of the Rings first."
And in fairness, he gave it a great tribute, but I think this movie...
And the thing is, similar to... Sorry.
It's okay.
No,
Okay.
go.
This movie, I think, pays better tribute to what audiences want to see in a King Kong movie than what King Kong's movie originally was. Like, it was mostly spectacle.
Which one?
The original, the 70s
Okay.
one. The original was mostly about the spectacle of the beast. Like, oh wow, look at it and how realistic it is. And it moves on its own.
Okay, I don't think it was a realistic thing because people like.
No, it's just like, how do they do that in the movies? That's
Yes,
all.
it was like the idea of movie magic, you know. But it's like people watched movies back then because it was this brand new thing.
It wasn't that new. Movies have been
I know.
around for decades.
The 30s, like 10 years.
No.
10, 20 years.
We are talking films were being made and putting in like little nickel machines.
Okay,
since
that is
late
different.
1800s.
That is different.
Video existed. I'm just saying.
Video.
Yeah. Film.
Whatever. So, what I was going to say is, I can't remember, but all I know is that the Blu-ray for Peter Jackson and King Kong has about as much special features as one Lord of the Rings special feature movie does. Like, people say that those DVDs, extended edition, with a wealth of Blu-ray DVD features or whatever, with their film school, and I can definitely see that because they go in every little detail. But that's not this movie.
No.
I'm just saying that's my history with Kong, and that I really enjoyed Peter Jackson's King Kong.
And in general, it was good. It was just too long.
As a child, you don't care about how long something is.
I don't know. How many times did you watch Lord of the Rings as a kid?
I was never into Lord of the Rings.
Checkmate,
In the first...
atheists. Checkmate.
Do you know how long the first two Harry Potter movies are?
No.
2 hours and 40 minutes.
Really?
Yes. The second one at least. I know that for a fact.
Wow. You know, I haven't watched them over and over, though. So, I don't know. Moving on.
Yeah.
Just saying, this movie, Kong and Skull Island, not any other Kong movie, was good. I had fun. It was safe in some parts.
You were playing your Switch.
It was safe in some parts, but it was very entertaining in others. I was very, very excited for the level of fighting that happened. Like, they just kept it in plain, broad daylight for once. I've seen Pacific Rim. I've seen
Godzilla 98.
Godzilla 98 and Godzilla King of the Monsters, and all of those. Everybody does the big action scene in the dark so that they don't have to make sure it looks good. And this just looked good and was fun.
Yeah. It really does. And something that I teased you with during the movie was like, what's the deal with Sam Jackson's character in this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a cartoon character.
When I first watched it, I thought his character was like, oh, he's this guy from war that just like, the war is over. Like he said, like we didn't lose, we got out of the fight or whatever. What did he say?
What is it? Yeah.
It was
like
just like
we gave up or we withdrew. Or...
Yeah, something like that. We just left. We stopped.
Yeah, there it is.
We stopped, and my idea was like, he just needed something to win over, you know? And in the special features, he said, like, how he wants to kill him because he killed his men, and, like, he is Ahab, and King Kong is his white whale. You know?
Okay. I mean, a little artsy, but okay.
That's what he said.
Yeah, I know. That's very typical of an actor to be.
Yes,
like,
I know that. But also, what's interesting in the special feature is that when the director got the call, like, "Hey, we have like, do you want to do this movie?" And they're like, "Why are you remaking King Kong?"
It's a very good question.
And like, what more can you do? Like, you got the original, you got I think he might have mentioned the one from the 70s. I can't remember. But he also had, like, Peter Jackson with a very loving remake of that original film. So what more can you add? It's not the... And he said other things like, it's not the... it's not the Beauty and the Beast story. It's man versus God.
Yeah, the MonsterVerse tie-ins were probably the most interesting part of the movie. And I didn't know it was called MonsterVerse until you mentioned it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it officially has a name.
Well,
I mean, anything else...
The WikiZilla says that it's called MonsterVerse compared to any other Godzilla series.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, what else would you call it?
I don't...
The Dark Universe.
Oh my goodness. On the wiki, they call the giant spider thing Mother Longlegs. That's great.
Yeah.
Its legs were so small. Like, so thin.
They were not thin, they were bamboo!
But how are they bamboo?
It evolved that way, Ben.
Okay. I mean, there was the log bug, so...
Yeah, and...
Made of log?
It was a stick bug, but giant. So it would grow accordingly.
It had like a turtle head.
I gave you that comparison.
But I know, so...
Didn't that make sense?
Yeah, but is the wood... Is it a hermit crab style bug, or is it like a turtle
I can
shell?
guarantee you it isn't. Look at the wiki. You're on it now.
I don't want to know that. Anyway, so let's move on. I will eventually find out that answer.
So it opens with a montage of like space and like man is progressing through technology, and it's like this is the, and they're now finally getting satellite images like of the whole world. So it's like everywhere is becoming less and less mysterious, you know? And I guess that was the time in the 70s, like, where that was happening. And so you got John Goodman and this skinny-looking guy that looks like he was on The Good Place. You know what I'm talking about?
The skinny guy?
The skinny
black
black guy.
The Hollow Earth scientist
Yes.
dude?
Yes, I thought he looked like that.
Oh,
like just like you had an image of him, and you literally just stretched the image,
and it looks like Chidi from Good Place.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, I mean I see what you're saying, but
and yeah, so they go there to like, it's. I mean, all my thoughts are like. However, this is a very popcorn movie. This is almost the definition of a popcorn movie.
Yeah, like, the basic plot is, like, silliness.
Let's go find this mysterious island that they call Skull Island, even though it doesn't look like a skull. But on the island, there's a mountain that if you look at it from a certain angle, it does look like a skull.
That is the most upsetting thing in this whole movie. There's no giant skull. I mean, I guess the skull would be the friends we made along the way.
The Kong Skull Island were really the friend. I mean, Brie Larson made a friend.
And she cried that tear. It looked like water just hit her in the face.
Yes.
Which was awful.
Which in actuality, it was just the organs of the Skull Crusher.
Get out of here. So, you know, the Skull Island thing is weird, right? First of all, if there's an island with a storm around it all the time, how does anyone know that there's an island in there?
We've had satellites.
But how can it see... And wait, if a satellite can just see the island, can it just see the monsters on the island? They're freaking huge!
Okay. Are
they not that good yet? Is that what's going on? Because it's the 70s?
I bet. Actually, you know what? No, I take it back. Because when our dad was in the military, Air Force, I'm not saying anything.
Nor did he.
They had cameras that could read the label of a golf ball from space.
Well, sure, you can say that it's granularity, but then wouldn't that make this movie moot?
Yes, but who cares? If Neil deGrasse Tyson's is just like Star Wars is not accurate.
Yeah, I remember. Like he would nitpick science
he was on
the
Conan.
magical space swords.
No, it's
show.
not that. Well, I mean, yes, but he
BB-8 couldn't roll in the sand.
Yeah, that's
like
exactly
that.
what I was gonna say. But the
Likewise, monsters can't get giant. The law of
mass,
what is it? Cube? The cube law?
The
Square cube law?
the square cube law.
Yeah, see, there you go. In which something that gets bigger
Gets-
has to, like, if it doubles in size, it has to, well, if it squares in size, it has to cube in volume. And so its overall mass wouldn't be able to support its own blah, blah, blah. Who cares?
We want monsters.
We want monsters! As a matter of fact,
That's another question I have. Do people nowadays even care about monster movies? Godzilla, King of the Monsters,
didn't it do okay?
the new one? No,
How did it do?
not very well.
I mean, how did both of these movies do? Kong, Skull, Island,
Box office.
Box. Thank you. 566 million. In a modern era, that's negative $20.
Okay, now look up Godzilla.
Godzilla King.
Forgive us.
Oof.
Yeah,
386. That's like nothing.
that's
This
like-
movie.
yeah.
What was its budget? Okay. Well, it made a profit
That
by a thin margin because you double that.
yeah, you double
to
it, and
accommodate for marketing.
but breaking even is not a success.
But
My point
You know.
is that I want more monster movies, and until the next Jurassic Park comes out, which is the only real monster movie that doesn't claim to be a monster movie, you know,
yeah.
that
I don't want to get too distracted on Jurassic Park. I have a lot of weird thoughts about Jurassic Park, and you hold it in nostalgia, so we don't need to.
what do
go
you
there.
mean?
You love Jurassic Park.
Okay, yeah, I'm saying that those movies, at least like the first one and parts of the fourth, are scary movies. Like I remember watching tangent, but I remember in the theater watching the first Jurassic World, and legit being freaked out. It was in the RPX theater, which is like a baby version of IMAX.
Yeah, yeah.
And like has leather seating. Anyway, like it legit scared me when the Indominus Rex came out of nowhere in like the old Jurassic Park area, like covered in jungle and
Oh,
such.
it was scary when it just appeared.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it's like
I mean, did the two-armed or two-legged bitey bite monster, was it scary?
I did not see this in theaters, unfortunately.
Neither did I.
Yeah, so there is something lost there, I feel.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like the spectacle of watching a giant movie in a movie theater.
Especially with giant monsters.
Some movies are only good in movie theaters, and I don't think...
Well, I disagree on that.
Well-
but I mean, they can be enhanced.
I think some
Tremendous.
movies
Like-
suck outside of the theater that are okay in theaters. Like,
Like
have you
what?
watched Gravity? Exactly.
I've never watched it.
Exactly.
I've
Sandra Bullock,
I've also never seen Interstellar.
George... Well, that is your fault, and we are remedying that.
I have never seen a Christopher Nolan film.
That is super difficult to handle, and I don't have time for that. What I do have time for is talking about Kong. I think this movie is really, really fun. You're not pulling your hair out about is the monster actually good or not. You're told very clearly this monster is good. It protects the people from the evil monster, which is that monster over there.
And the monster ate his parents.
But they're also dead right here.
Yes. So how did they eat them if they're still there?
Exactly. And how do giant monsters live? What do they eat all day and night? They need a lot of energy, but I don't care because it's a monster movie. And I assume all giant monsters hibernate until they're seen on camera.
I mean, I feel like that's what Godzilla did.
I mean, like the bad ones were actually underground. So, makes sense.
Yeah, hold on. Side tangent to King of Monsters. Was there an ancient civilization hundreds of thousands of years ago that worshipped, or even hundreds of millions of years ago that worshipped?
It could have only been hundreds of thousands, not hundreds of millions.
Who knows, honestly.
But I think it was tens of thousands. But
Tens.
like Sumerian and
That's
some other things.
But it was underground.
Likewise.
Sorry, that whole mythology
Well,
there,
it
like
went
truly
underground. It's archaeological stuff. Dirt just
Which,
piles up.
speaking of, they laid the groundwork here for the Hollow Earth thing.
Ground. Sorry.
Yeah, but
Hollow Earth. Yeah, the scientist was like, I posted my research about the Hollow Earth and everyone laughed at me.
yes,
Because that sounds really stupid.
people laughed at me when I proposed my flat Earth theory.
So dumb.
I mean, it's absurd in every way. I mean, we're talking about giant monsters, which are doing blah 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 blah, but it's like what?
I totally agree. You've got to,
Like in this movie,
you can't walk the line between assuming it's real except for one thing. It's kind of just got to be suspend your disbelief.
it's like, what is the movie about? Is it about monsters or is it about facts like The Martian? You know, where the point is that it's like The Martian is about someone trying to survive on Mars while people rescue him.
Man, that movie and that book are great. Just saying.
Okay, I believe you. I've seen it.
I read the book because of the movie.
Yes.
Actually.
But so yeah, it's like the clip we got at the beginning. We got it from CinemaSins.
Yes, we did.
Uh,
Oh man, CinemaSins. You told me something about that. The director got pissed.
Yeah, he actually did because he made some sin. We weren't watching the video. We were getting it for the clip at the beginning. You may have noticed.
Go on.
Unlikely, he said.
I whispered it. I mean, assuming you can hear my sounds. That's why we're doing the pod.
Anyway, so yeah, he got upset with him because, like, hey, you know what? I don't want to say it was just that reason. I'm not sure if he put something out on Twitter, but it's like he made a sin about, all the helicopters were destroyed during King Kong slap fighting the helicopters, swatting them out of the air. And he's like, and now these other helicopters are coming. What's the deal? But as you see the helicopters flying away, off the freighter or whatever that's carrying them, in one of them, which you can probably assume the other ones that are carrying helicopters also have them, there are extra helicopters there. Which just shows his hackery.
Well, I mean, no one would say that CinemaSins takes a large, in-depth review of the film. I know,
but it's like he's doing these every 3 days.
That's why.
Non-stop. He's done hundreds of these. Does he even care? I'm sorry.
He should really get a team of people to do it, and he should just read it.
I mean, it's fine that we're punching up right now. I mean, imagine if in like...
Take that guy.
Yeah.
That put him in his place.
Yes, it's not...
Your work is worse than ours.
At least art comes from an earnest place. We're not even making money off of this. Well, technically in a way you are, but not
sort
me.
of, yeah, it's weird.
It's been a while, though.
But moving on.
Brie Larson?
Brie Larson.
Is she...
Actor?
We have seen her in 3 things.
Those are?
This.
Yes.
Captain Marvel.
2.
And...
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Yes. Those are the only 3 things we've seen her in. She is an Oscar-nominated actor.
But
not nominated,
what?
winner! She
What
won
did she win?
Best Actress!
Brie Larson Oscar.
She won!
Best Actress for Room.
Yes. And it's like... I can't speak to it, as we have not seen the film. But it's like... How? Like, in the 2 movies that we've seen... Okay, I'll be honest. I don't even remember Brie Larson in Scott Pilgrim at all.
Well, she was evil...
Is she one of the evil exes?
She was Scott's evil ex.
What?
The head of
at the very end?
No, she was at the 3rd ex-boyfriend. She was the lead singer of the group. That name escapes me right now. But she sings a song in it too. And it's actually pretty good. Highly recommend that movie. Full of dynamite actors. And one of the best movies.
I mean,
That's all.
It's what's his name?
I mean, it does. One downside is Michael Cera's face is in it. But the writing is so good, and the everything about it is so
Cera
great.
Michael
He just has a weird
Michael Cera-
mug.
I know he does. But
That's the only downside to this movie.
He is a net positive as of Arrested Development.
Oh, I agree. I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I just said he has a weird.
But this movie, not Arrested Development, Brie Larson. It's like, I remember coming out of Captain Marvel and really liking it, really being on the positive end. That's what our podcast. That's what our podcast episode about on it. Plug is. That was our first reaction from it. I haven't seen it since, and neither have you, I believe.
It's true. I tried once, but
Yeah.
I have a hard time watching some movies more than once. Like, some movies you get to it and you're like, eh. And this felt that way. I tried to watch it with the wife later.
But yeah,
I was like, eh.
so it's like,
But in this movie, also very wooden.
I mean,
But
yeah, because it's weird.
do we need anybody to be like super in-depth emotional in this movie?
Well, it's weird because that camera she's holding actually has film in it.
Oh, it does?
Yes, because they're like,
Such an authentic experience for the actor.
yes, literally.
Do we get the camera pictures?
We have some.
Or like what the picture should be of or whatever? Like,
In the special features,
Oh my
there's a
goodness.
thing where it talks about Brie Larson and her pictures, but the director talks about like pictures are sliding over, and it's like we don't have to use these, but it like takes the authenticity or something. But it's weird. I don't think he uses the word authentic, but he's like, Brie Larson said, "Yeah, absolutely, more please," or "Yes, please."
yeah,
And it,
that's just like a thing that actors really love, is to be more in the character. Not everybody does the method acting thing. Most of them think it's pretentious and stupid, but like having more props, more realism on
Like
set makes it a more enjoyable time for you, the actor, to become that character.
and I always wonder with like, strangely enough, like I think this is the first of 3 movies that not Captain Marvel, Brie Larson and Sam Jackson are in together.
What's the third one? So we know Captain Marvel, this one.
Unicorn Factory, Unicorn Store, I think it's called.
The Unicorn Factory Store.
I can't. No, it's either called. You know what I mean.
I have the IMDb up.
I remember ads for it for YouTube, like YouTube Premium. And
and there were a bunch of ads. Yeah.
and it was then
Unicorn Store,
what year was it?
2017.
So same year as this film. It's the thing is like it's
It's a Netflix movie?
it was on YouTube though for a time. It was advertised.
Heck. Okay.
Unless this is some weird like Mandela effect thing where it's like, oh, because it's a red label,
Maybe.
like a red logo, I confused it. I don't know. But yeah, it's like weirdly wooden her acting. But on the positive end, they shot a lot of most of this movie on location. Like
Skull Island.
yes.
The first half of the movie, it took so long to get onto the island because of the storm that's perpetually around the island. They're like, this storm looks bad, even though we knew the storm was coming.
Yeah.
That part was like Cinema Sins worthy when I was watching it.
Yeah,
It was like, we're going into the storm, and they're like, wait a minute, this storm looks bad, we're gonna wait. You're like, but we already knew there was a storm. It's perpetual.
yeah.
It's magical. Why is there a storm?
Godzilla.
Is King Kong stirring a giant wooden spoon in the ocean to make the storm?
I think it was. I think it was
Could be
that. I
stone.
think it was that giant octopus he ate.
Oh man, it was cool. It was super cool. Like, he squishes the head.
And you see the ink.
It
like
was such a cool... Like, they just do so many cool little things like that all over, like, how the hair mats with the blood on it, and, like, the helicopter interactions. I am surprised that Brie Larson lives
in the hand
mouth of the thing.
It's like,
oh, man.
oh my god! It's like that is a CinemaSin thing, and I'm like, it's not entirely unwarranted. It's
See,
I'll let it go.
this is
I'll let it
all
go.
about suspension of disbelief. So, when you're telling a story, you're like, that doesn't seem to make any sense. Or you're on stage and there's a bunch of actors and they're like, we're on the moon. And you're like, that's not
We're
even
whalers
close.
on the moon.
They carry a harpoon.
This is
But-
this is the third time this week we've brought up Whalers on the Moon.
And plug for Futurama, one of the best shows ever.
Yes, it needs our help.
It does. Avenge Us?
I don't
Was it
know.
the end?
I know nothing.
That's your fault. It's a
All
great
I
show.
I know the ending.
It's great.
Which ending though?
Oh. So nuts.
We're talking about Monster, the look of the fur, the mattedness.
Yes, there were a bunch of things in the movie that they clearly paid a lot of attention to, and one of the things I love the most about this movie, loved, is that it was all in the sun. All the fights were well lit. The one sentimental Kong moment was in the dark.
Well, also the fire bit where like Sam Jackson gets
Oh,
squished.
like the ground is flammable, but not the air. That part.
It was no.
Oh, suspension of disbelief. Hold on. Back where we're going. Just a second. Suspension of disbelief. If you say in a play, hey, we're in this room, and you have a single box or a table or something, everyone goes there in their mind. But when you're in a movie, you look at the giant monster and you're like, that monster is really, in quotes, there. And so I expect it to do certain things. And so they make you suspend disbelief by showing you a monster that you know doesn't exist, but in their world, the rules are allowed. But even when they break their own rules, it makes it hard. So, they're fighting this super strong monster, and then he just rips his tongue and his guts come out? That was gross.
I mean, I feel like it was his tongue that was connected to his throat, and then the lungs, and then the stomach.
And it felt like it was, hey, we can't break the jaw like Peter Jackson did.
Yeah, we don't have.
And
we
the
can't,
original King Kong. We can't do that thing,
we're
going to do the
what
other
if
thing.
they did have the T-Rex fight, except he just squishes it?
That would have been really funny.
Because
Also,
there was a Triceratops. Yeah, there was a Triceratops skull, though. So there were dinosaurs?
How long have the dinosaurs been here?
Been dead?
Are they still around?
Did the Skull Crushers eat them all?
Are the
all the
dinosaurs
dinosaurs in the world?
Are there dinosaurs on the island right now? Do all animals go to the same place to die?
I mean,
in this toxic swamp place?
I mean, this is clearly the sequel to Dinotopia.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Dinotopia.
You don't know?
That's great.
I mean, much nostalgia in our family, at least me. You more so the miniseries, but me the series.
I love
series.
the miniseries.
Yeah. Because, oh man, memories. But yeah, in that miniseries / show, there's a giant storm and they crash onto an island, and it has some dinosaur, and there are dinosaurs there that hid from the asteroid, and some of them can talk, some of them cannot, some of them can talk in a weird language that is not...
There's a dinosaur language and writing in dinosaur that's like footprints in different directions, pretty much.
Yes, but it's... yeah.
And the sunstone stops the predators from coming around because the sun...
Yes.
What a fun movie, show, thing, series, book, set.
I think there were some kid books. But anyway, this is...
So this movie just reminded us of all the good monster movies and experiences we've had. And so I think it's worth even a rewatch. I think I would watch it a second time.
With commentary?
That's probably the only reason I would watch it a second time. But it does all the things, and it does it well. Throughout, because I watched King of the Monsters before this movie...
It's no Cthulhu ending.
Oh my goodness, Underwater is not good.
It is better than you claim it is.
I don't think that at all. It gets worse the more you think about it.
That is not true. I watched it with commentary.
Commentaries, they always put up a fight that their movie is art. They're like, oh, this movie... Like, I don't ask. When I was younger, I loved commentaries, like you also.
What? I ask.
I said, no, don't. We watch I watched Princess Diaries with commentary, okay? Don't ask, I said.
I won't.
And the director, like, pretty much sold me and said it was art. And I was like, yeah, sure. Everything's art. But this movie was good. Throughout the whole movie, though, because I had watched Godzilla King of the Monsters, I was wondering to myself, how much of this MonsterVerse is already formed?
Yeah.
They brought up Hollow Earth stuff, which came in heavily in King of the Monsters. And they brought up, like, the religion thing as its main point.
In the end credit scene of this.
In the beginning, like, in the...
Oh, also...
Like, as the lore, they're the protectors of the island and stuff, doing what Godzilla does in the next movie.
Well, of the lore stuff. Sorry. In the special features, it's like, oh, here are some, what is it called? Monarch files or whatever. It's like, the Skull Crushers have an extremely high metabolism, or whatever. I'm not sure what the actual word is, but like, it means they're constantly starving. So that's one thing. But two was that the tribe, or whatever, isn't native to the island.
Yeah, but they don't really talk about that. I was kind of bummed. As a matter of fact,
they don't talk at all.
Say any words.
Apparently, it's very minimalism, and it's mostly gestures that mean much, or something.
This place is sacred. If you want to keep your hands.
Wait.
I was like, how did he learn that? Nobody.
Samurai Man.
He has no hands.
He touched it once. First he touched it once. It was like, but then he like tried to sneak a second touch. Like, no, I'm Stumpy.
And that's why he has the sword now.
Yes.
Not because he died.
John C. Reilly, Samurai Man.
John C. Reilly got the swords because Samurai Man got his arms chopped off. Oh my goodness. So, number? Do you want to give it a number?
No.
Not me neither. You know what? Quarantine movies don't need numbers. Just watch it.
Yeah, it's
this is a movie that's like deserves being watched. It deserves your time and to be watched.
I was about to say invite your friends, but no, don't invite your friends.
Don't invite your friends. It is a fun movie with friends, but you know, there's a large list of movies that I should watch that, and this is one of them.
Let's say your living situation is that you have roommates. Watch it with them.
Yes.
It's better than bad.
You're really selling me on it. I'm in.
I'm sorry. It's like
better than bad.
It's like, how could you sell popcorn movies to people? That's my question.
I mean, first of all, is popcorn good?
No, it is not. It's very bad for you.
That is so wrong. Corn
isn't everything bad
because it's so great.
Yes.
Okay, now imagine.
Are our atoms made of corn?
I think every atom is a tiny piece of popcorn.
At the end,
and every popcorn movie enhances the power of your popcorn cells.
You remember that episode of Rick and Morty where everything, at the end of season 2, where they were looking for a new planet, they went to the corn planet and everything was made of corn, including all the organisms were descended from corn.
Oh my goodness! Yes, I do. So popcorn is good. Popcorn movies are fun. You have popcorn, you have the snack, you're having an event. But it's not art. It's not Oscar bait. It's not one of those mind-melding movies or anything like that.
Yeah. This is a separate thing, but I don't believe an event film like an Avengers is a popcorn movie.
No. I'm just saying, watching the movie is part of the fun, not just the movie itself.
Like New Sonic, that's a popcorn, I think.
Yes. I think most movies that are generally fine...
Did your daughter watch that?
Oh, yeah. She loves it.
Or did she go with us?
Yes.
Are we sure?
Yes, she sat right next to me the whole time.
Are we sure that wasn't Onward?
She did that? Nuts, I don't know.
Okay. So that's our popcorn movie list.
The whole list.
The whole list of popcorn.
If you have popcorn,
send it our way.
we like popcorn.
Make sure it's popped.
Pre-pop. Props to the guy who found that thing out. He was like, holy crud, this popcorn.
You know what I meant?
This corn pops. And he just have it on a stick over the fire, and all of a sudden it's like, and it's like, I'm gonna eat that.
I'm sure we could actually Google that, Wikipedia, and definitely find out the actual answer, but who cares?
I mean, we all know popcorn came to movie theaters because it was a cheap snack.
Okay,
I'm over it.
We're running dry. Goodbye.
We're done. No.